Welcome to the award for promoting Philippines-China understanding. Our program will begin in a few minutes. Meanwhile, here are a few reminders for you to enjoy our online event better. This live stream is best viewed through your laptop with high internet bandwidth. You may choose to close other applications on your device. Make sure that you enter full screen on Zoom for a better viewing experience. Stay tuned to the whole duration of the program and keep your microphones muted. Thank you. Welcome to the award for promoting Philippines-China understanding. All safety protocols are being observed in relation to today's program. The staff, crew, and artists have all been COVID tested and are fully vaccinated. Thank you. Our program will begin shortly. Mabuhay! Welcome to the ceremony of award for promoting Philippines-China understanding. My name is Carlo Orosa.
你好。
All right, it is our absolute honor to be your host for today's momentous occasion. So, how are you, Luella? Well, and speaking of, I hope our audience are all safe and healthy as they watch this live stream in the comforts of their homes. And now, before we officially start the program, may we call everyone to rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, helas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y kumay. Lupang bihirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manluluping, di ka pasisigil, sa gagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mo babaw, ay hiragang tugla, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng atawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtihindig, makituwin at karoon niya kailan pang ay di magtihindig. Lumanang araw ng warhabit pagsingkang, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hinigaya na pagkay mga amin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of the People's Republic of China.
All right, you may all be seated. So, how is everyone doing? Well, as much as we wish we could all be together today, we have to keep safety as our key priority. Meanwhile, let's extend our virtual greetings to each other with an online engagement through our active likes and comments. That's very true, Luella. This afternoon, we celebrate, acknowledge, and appreciate individuals who committed themselves to foster strong ties and promote friendly relations between the Philippines and China. To begin with, let's officially start our awarding ceremony. We would like to acknowledge our VIPs. Association for Philippines-China Understanding Chairman Emeritus and former Philippine President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Ambassador of People's Republic of China to the Philippines, Ambassador Huang Silian. Association for Philippines-China Understanding Chairman Secretary Raul Lambino. Well, we know you are very busy, and so we are very grateful for your participation in today's event. The Philippines and China's profound and enduring friendship has spanned over 46 years already. That's particularly amazing, and we continue to move forward to greatness together. The prosperity, triumphs, and milestones we achieve together would not be possible, of course, without the unwavering commitment of those we are honoring today. Allow me to introduce a strong woman who is integral to establishing the relationship the Philippines has with China. During her presidency, she made active efforts to promote friendship and people-to-people relationships. She was elected as senator on her first run in politics in 1992, and she was re-elected in 1995 with nearly 16 million votes. She was elected Vice President of the Philippines in 1998, and in 2001, she became the second woman to be swept into the presidency. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of applause to former Philippine President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo.
It's an honor to be part of this awarding of the Association for Philippines-China Understanding and the Chinese Embassy in the Philippines for individuals who have done much to promote Philippines-China understanding. But before anything else, let me congratulate the ones who undertook the difficult three-stage selection and judging process for different individuals to be given this very first award. Your choices for this first award set the tone for future awards and how we think Philippines-China understanding should be promoted. There are so many ways. For example, one way is by being the brand ambassador for the leading online platform from China that provides learners with live online English lessons like John Nicolo Fernandez. Another way is by editing a website that clarifies the ramifications of the Philippines-China dispute over the South China Sea, like Ado Paglinawan. Or by writing not only about Filipino-Chinese relations, but also about Filipino-Chinese customs and traditions, like Dr. and Attorney Leomiel Aportadera. Or by becoming one of the most successful Filipinos in China, like Jimmy Flor Cruz, who became Beijing Bureau Chief of CNN. Or by being director of the Confucius Institute, like Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno, or by co-founding CAISA in order to work for the full integration of the Filipino-Chinese community, like Tessie Ang Si, or by giving a platform for speakers to discuss China, like broadcast journalist and columnist Herman Chu Laurel, or by being a much-respected head of a think tank like Romel Banlawi, president of the Philippine Association for Chinese Studies, or by promoting trade and commerce within the Philippines and China, like Francis Chua, who was my special envoy to China and is now chairman of the Philippine Silk Road International Chamber of Commerce. And of course, by leading the 1974 diplomatic mission to China to open formal ties between Manila and Beijing with no less than Chairman Mao Zedong, like then First Lady Madam Imelda Marcos. To all our awardees for your special ways in promoting Philippines-China understanding, congratulations and may your tribe increase.
All right, thank you for the profound message, former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Now, it's time to hear from the man at the heart of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China to the Philippines.
He is China's current ambassador to the Philippines. He has worked with China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs for 30 years with profound experience. Let us all give a warm welcome to China's ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Huang Xilian.
Honorable Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, former President of the Republic of the Philippines. Honorable Raul Lampino, Chairman of Association for Philippines-China Understanding, APCU. Honorable Jeffrey Ng, President of APCU. Honorable Imelda Romeldas Marcos, former First Lady of the Republic of the Philippines. Honorable Francis Chua, former Special Envoy of the Philippines to China and founding chairman of the Philippine Silk Road International Chamber of Commerce. Other distinguished awardees, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Magandang hapon. I'm delighted to join you in this awarding ceremony of the first award for promoting Philippines-China understanding. On behalf of the Chinese Embassy, I would like to extend heartfelt appreciation to the 10 awardees for your immense contributions to promoting mutual understanding and friendship between China and the Philippines. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to the colleagues of APCU for organizing this momentous event. Announced by Chinese State Councilor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi and former President Arroyo last January, and jointly set up by Chinese Embassy in Manila and Association for Philippines-China Understanding. APPCU aims to recognize those who have contributed to promoting mutual understanding and friendship between our two countries, and encouraged our two peoples to enhance mutual trust, scale down differences, boost affinity, and prompt collaboration. It is mutual understanding that lays a solid foundation for all-round integration. China and the Philippines share a millennium history of friendship and cooperation. Generations of wise and brave predecessors initiated trade and people-to-people bonds between China and the Philippines. In the early 15th century, the great Chinese navigator Zheng He led a huge delegation and made multiple visits to the Manila Bay, Visayas, and Sulu archipelago on his 7 overseas voyages, seeking trade and friendship. During the same period, the East King of Sulu Batuka Pahala made a return visit and goodwill visit to China. These are a few of the many extraordinary representatives of our two peoples sharing the common aspiration of living in peace and harmony. Looking back at history, we will find that our two peoples have such natural aspirations to know each other and develop friendship. Today, we should inherit and carry forward the spirit of our ancestors to continue this journey of mutual understanding and friendship. During the past few years, under the strategic guidance of President Xi Jinping and President Duterte, China and the Philippines have witnessed another golden era of bilateral relations. as well as the establishment of a comprehensive strategic cooperative relationship, which has brought tangible benefits to our two peoples and contributed to the peace and stability of this region. As the progress and development of our countries are closely intertwined and the people-to-people bonds reach renewed heights, it is an auspicious time to launch APPCU, which endeavors to inject additional dynamism into building a more comprehensive China-Philippines partnership in the new era. To increase mutual understanding, we should open hearts to each other. As the Chinese saying goes, only heart-to-heart exchanges can last long. To that end, we need to raise awareness, reduce misinterpretation, manage differences, and promote bridges of understanding and cooperation. China and the Philippines have great potential for cooperation in the field of people-to-people and social-cultural exchanges, and there is still much for the two peoples to learn about each other. Like in any relationship, certain misunderstandings and differences are bound to be, but the longer-lasting memories are the joys of overcoming the trials together and enjoying the fruits of cooperation together. I'm pleased to learn that the recipients of the first APPCU have passionately devoted years to the promotion of Philippines-China friendship in various sectors such as education, media, culture, social activities, and public services. They have dedicated their lives to the improvement of China-Philippines relations and embodied the goodwill of our two peoples for each other. Thanks to their efforts, Chinese and Filipinos can better understand each other, more bridges are built to support friendship, and foundations are strengthened for a more holistic development of bilateral relations. This year marks the 20th anniversary of China-Philippine Friendship Day. President Xi Jinping and President Duterte, in their phone conversation last month, have reached important consensus on the future development of the bilateral relations. President Xi pointed out that China attaches great importance to the relations with the Philippines and supports the Philippine side in firmly upholding an independent foreign policy of peace. China is ready to deepen friendship and mutual trust with the Philippines, stay committed to good neighborliness and friendship, and keep bilateral relations on the right track to achieve peace and long-term development. The friendship and peace between the nations lie in the bonds of the people. With the support from friends who are here with us today, and many more at large in society, APPCU will build a more vibrant and dynamic bridge of understanding and friendship between China and the Philippines in the new era. To conclude, I wish to once again express my high respects to all the recipients of the first APPCU, as well as all those who have long committed to promoting mutual understanding and friendship between our two countries. I do hope to see more and more awardees of APPCU in the years to come. Thank you, and Mabuhay.
Thank you so much for that very inspiring message, Ambassador Huang Xilian.
And now, we'll hear from an equally hardworking man, the chairman of the Association for Philippines-China Understanding, Mr. Raul Lambino.
Excellency, Madam President Gloria Macapagal-Aro, Chairperson Emeritus of the Association for Philippines-China Understanding, His Excellency Ambassador Huang Xilian of the People's Republic of China, the honorees of the first awards for the promotion of Philippines-China Understanding, the officers and members of the Association for Philippines-China Understanding, good day to everyone. There is a magnificent clarity about how close and how enduring the multi-layered relationship between the Philippines and China has been. Historically, it can be said that we were already good neighbors long before the concept has evolved into a touchstone of 20th century diplomacy. And as good neighbors, together, the Philippines and China have developed a sense of belonging, if not a sense of shared future in this region of the Far East. History teaches us that in the centuries before the first Europeans reached our archipelago and claimed it under the banner of Spain, our two peoples on both sides of the South China Sea carried on trade and commerce of goods. Consequently, there was an intermingling of our cultures, and inevitably intermarriages followed between native women and Chinese men who settled in the islands, eventually influencing and shaping the local society as traders and artisans. Chinese migration to the archipelago in the later centuries produced a distinctive class in our multicultural society called the Chinese mestizos, of whom Filipino scholars spoke highly as the industrious race, quote unquote. During the centuries of Spanish rule in the Philippines, the Chinese mestizos became pillars of society, and scholarly research concludes that they played an important role in the creation and evolution of what is now called the Filipino nation. One remarkable view cites the Dominican priest Father Jesus Moreno, who wrote, and I quote, "The Filipino nationality, no matter how Malayan it may be in its main ethnic stock, no matter how Spanish and Christian it may be in its inspiration, civilization, and religion, no matter how American it may be in its politics, trade, and aspiration, has been historically and practically shaped by the Chinese mestizo." This idea probably animates the overarching theme in APCO's program today that honors leaders of our society who have given themselves to the promotion and enhancement of bilateral understanding between present-day China and the Philippines. Together, they epitomize the achievements of our common past. Together, they continue to inspire us to work for goals in the future that will further unite rather than divide us today. Today is significant because the work is nowhere complete. It is not done, and we are aware of it. As the poet has said, we have miles to go before we sleep. Congratulations to the awardees. Thank you and mabuhay.
Thank you, Mr. Raul Lambino. Now, behind the success story of this 2021 live virtual awards ceremony is the grounding foundation between two countries.
Introducing the award for promoting Philippines-China awardees. Let's all watch this.
Among countries in Southeast Asia, the Philippines is geographically one of the closest, if not the closest, to China.
Historically, the socio-cultural relations between Filipinos and Chinese can be traced back to ancient times. The first groups of people engaged with by locals and native inhabitants of pre-colonial Philippines were the Chinese. Filipinos and Chinese began trading as far back as the 7th century. We have our history to attest that as far back as the Tang Dynasty, long before the discovery of the Philippines by Magellan, China and the Philippines already had relatively close relations and material and cultural exchanges.
Indeed, the Chinese had traded amicably along the Philippine coasts for several centuries before the Europeans arrived in the archipelago. Even as early as 1417, diplomatic relations had already been established between China and the Philippines. Sultan Paduka Pahala, the King of Sulu, was probably the first for several centuries, even before the Europeans arrived. However, it was not until the 9th of June 1975 that the official diplomatic ties between the People's Republic of China and the Republic of the Philippines was established. The 9th of June of every year has also been decreed through Proclamation 148 of former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo as the Filipino-Chinese Friendship Day, commemorating the day that diplomatic relations were established between the Philippines and China.
Philippines-China relations are important. When I became president, relations between the Philippines and China entered a golden age. The continuing friendship between our two peoples enhances the mutually beneficial relations between our two countries and contributes to peace and harmony in the Asia-Pacific region. That is the significance of my presidential proclamation declaring June 9 of every year as Filipino-Chinese Friendship Day. Under President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, bilateral ties between the Philippines and China have reached new heights. The relationship between the Philippines and China is important. One major reason is geography. The Philippines and China are located within each other's backyard, so to speak. So good relations between neighbors is always a priority. A second major reason is that China is involved not only in bilateral dealings but also collectively, such as through the ASEAN. A third reason is that China's economy remains the most dynamic and fastest growing among the major nations, and soon it may become the world's largest economy. A fourth factor is that domestically, the Philippines has a vibrant Filipino-Chinese community for whom business dealings with China are natural. A fifth factor is that infrastructure will continue to be important for the Philippines in the coming years, and there is no country in the world that matches China's recent track record and capability in this area.
One of the instrumental and pivotal factors that help in the establishment and strengthening of the official diplomatic ties between the Philippines and China is people-to-people relations. The Association for Philippines-China Understanding, or APCU, a non-government organization, NGO, based in the Philippines, was already active in promoting people-to-people relations between the two countries.
The Association for Philippines-China Understanding is a private association promoting friendship between the Philippines and China. I am Chair Emeritus of APCO, which means Honorary Chair. During APCO's formative years, I helped formalize and register it with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The first chairman of APCO was Alejandro Roses, who was Secretary of Education of my father, the late President Diosdado Macapagal. In the early 1970s, when I heard that Chairman Roses was organizing a trip to China at that time, I asked him if I could go along. He invited me to join APCO. APCO was informally organized after China sent aid to Central Luzon flood victims in July 1972. And it was registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission in 1974. APCO helped in the establishment of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and China in the sense that it was an advocacy group. As an organization, APCO helps facilitate and strengthen Philippines-China relations by promoting non-government exchanges. Non-government exchanges is a key to Philippines-China relations. At the end of the day, the government is the body of the country, but the people are its heart. Thus, fostering exchanges at the people level, like what APCO does, as opposed to the government level, is the natural way to create ties between nations.
APCU is currently under the leadership of Chairman and Secretary Raul L. Lambino and its President Jeffrey Nam. APCU as of now has regional chapters in Baguio, Cebu, Davao, Angeles City, and Pangasinan.
Over the years, far from the knowledge of many, APCU has silently worked on behalf of the two countries through the efforts and contributions of individuals and organizations from the ground and the upper echelons of Philippine society in espousing a mutual understanding between the Philippines and China.
The association is very active in the conduct of the APCU Forum, which is a platform for a constructive conversation on current bilateral issues among policy and thought leaders, experts, and stakeholders to foster friendship, understanding, and cooperation. The association has also facilitated cultural, academic, and visit exchanges, economic trade cooperation, and partnership.
We, at the Association for Philippine-China Understanding, or APCU, believe that we have good enough reasons to acknowledge the opportunities that such historical roots open to us Filipinos. It is precisely in this light that APCU endeavors to foster and strengthen the ties between these two nations and two peoples, Filipinos and Chinese. As it is from the birth of APCU, it is in the best interest of both countries that the Association for Philippine-China Understanding will continue to aspire and carry out its vision and mission. Truly, in fulfilling the mission of APCU, it is my honor to present to you one of the initiatives of the association, together with the Chinese Embassy, this novel and newly launched award-giving body, the Award for Promoting Philippines-China Understanding, APCU. I see this initiative as rather opportune in recognizing the industry and contributions made both by renowned and ordinary Filipinos in reinforcing relations between the two countries. Even in these simple yet sincere gestures, we hope to encourage more of our fellow citizens and instill in them a renewed appreciation of our Filipino-Chinese ties.
The award for promoting Philippines-China understanding is
for awards are Filipino citizens who have committed themselves to the improvement and advancement of Philippines-China bilateral relations using their fields of disciplines and area of expertise, such as public service, media journalism, trade and commerce. The 10 awardees for 2021 will be given recognition in a formal ceremony.
I look forward to more productive years ahead of the award for promoting Philippines-China Understanding. Thank you.
As neighbors facing each other across the sea, despite differences, China and the Philippines boast geographically proximity, culture affinity, and a long history of friendly people-to-people exchanges. This friendship between the two peoples needs to carry on, move forward, and be passed down to the present and succeeding generations.
Now, while it's customary for the association to celebrate all the strides we make every year, there are some notable individuals who have constantly made efforts to bridge the seas between these two countries through the years. Consistent, committed, and relentless, these people truly deserve to be part of the award for promoting Philippines-China understanding. Let's watch this.
Since its launch in January of this year, members of the board and the committee behind the awards for promoting Philippines-China understanding, or APCU, have endeavored to streamline its search for well-deserving individuals for recognition of their efforts and contributions in fostering and promoting understanding, appreciation, and the reinforcement of amity between the Philippines and China.
From a list of 26 nominees received beginning the early quarter of this year, 10 individuals from both public and private sectors have passed the three-stage selection and judging process. Prestige, nature, and extent of their work are largely the basis for the identification of their respective award category. Currently, there are 3 categories for the award. The Hall of Fame category, which acknowledges the prestige and stature of the individual and the immense effort of work the individual has done over time, as may evidenced by the extent of reach, impact, and reception of their work or works by communities and societies. The Outstanding Contributions category, which recognizes individuals of lesser prominence, but has nonetheless made notable contributions in promoting and strengthening Philippines-China bilateral relations, friendship, cooperation, and understanding. The Major Contributions category, which recognizes the works of individuals whose works have a growing reach and impact on the lives of specific groups or communities of people at the grassroots level. Henceforth, the Association for Philippines-China Understanding, or APCU, and the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Republic of the Philippines are delighted and proud to announce the 10 laureates of the award for promoting Philippines-China Understanding, or APPCU, for 2021.
All right, little glitch there. As we start with the most prominent contributors in the Filipino-Chinese community, may we call on the awardees comprising the Hall of Fame. Starting off with our first Hall of Fame awardee. She is an icon, a woman that throughout the decades astonished us with her wit and beauty. She became a power broker for statesmen, politicians, and bureaucrats. Today, she still stands as an epitome of world power and beauty, not only for her family, but also her constituents who have always looked up to her and her family. All this and more is why we believe she is worthy of the Hall of Fame award. Please welcome former First Lady Imelda Romualdez Marcos.
Madam Imelda Marcos, also known as the Iron Butterfly, is the wife of the late Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos. Far from being a traditional First Lady, Madam Imelda was a force in her own right. She was considered as among the few who were openly and attentively received by renowned leaders like China's Prime Minister Zhou Enlai and leader Mao Zedong, to name a few. Her passion for culture, beauty, and the arts were said to be one that greatly inspired China's Prime Minister Zhou Enlai and leader Mao Zedong, securing the Philippines' favor and support in negotiating not only for an important oil deal, but sealed the establishment of the official diplomatic ties between China and the Philippines on the 9th of June 1975. From the time of her being the First Lady of the country until today, Madam Imelda remains an epitome of power and beauty, not only for her family, but also her constituents who have always looked up to her and her family. She continues to be a pillar of strength to her children and grandchildren, and an inspiration to every Filipino who holds the belief that true beauty is God's love made real. Our former First Lady, Imelda Romualdez Marcos,
Dear Secretary Lambino, may I first take this opportunity to thank all of you for the constant efforts to improve and maintain the relationship between the Philippines and the People's Republic of China. I would like to congratulate the people behind this gracious event of the award for promoting Philippines-China understanding, particularly the Association for Philippines-China Understanding officials and members, led by its chairman, Secretary Raul L. Lambino, Chairman Emeritus, former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, APCU President Mr. Jeffrey Nang, and APCU Vice Chairman Sixto Benedicto. The officials of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Manila, led by the Ambassador of China to the Philippines, His Excellency Ambassador Huang Xilian. It is an extraordinary honor and privilege to have been given the opportunity to be one of the Hall of Fame APCU 2021 awardee. I am truly honored to receive an award along with the other individuals who have made remarkable contributions in promoting friendship between China and the Philippines. I am looking forward to having a meaningful bilateral relationship between the People's Republic of China and the Philippines to further deepen and broaden our friendship and constructive cooperation for the benefit of our people. Please accept, Secretary, the renewed assurances of my highest consideration. With best regards, I remain, sincerely, Imelda Romualdez Marcos.
Congratulations to our former First Lady, Imelda Romualdez Marcos. Our next Hall of Fame awardee was the Honorary President of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines in 2015 and served as its first president. He is the person we can thank for the Chinese trucks and buses to the Philippines you see today. Most notably, he is instrumental in crafting an executive order allowing foreigners to invest in the Philippines' permanent residence. Truly a pillar of the community and someone worthy of a Hall of Fame award. Ambassador Francis Chua.
Ambassador Chua is the Chairman and Emeritus of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI. He is also the Honorary President of the Federation of the Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Inc., or FFCCCII. He founded the International Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines in 2015 and served as its first president. In the same year, he was elected as Chairman Emeritus of the Employers Federation of the Philippines, or ECOP. In 2015, he was appointed as Vice Chairman of the Silk Road International Chamber of Commerce. In 2016, he established the Philippine Silk Road International Chamber of Commerce as founding chairman. Among his remarkable contributions include introduced Chinese trucks and buses to the Philippines since 1983. He signed a memorandum of cooperation with Chinese counterparts for launching the first international communications satellite for the Philippines in 1993. In 1997, he was instrumental in the Philippines' first international communications and broadcasting satellite, which was successfully launched by the Chinese Long March 3 rocket in Zhejiang, China. Ambassador Chua is also known for his achievements in solving anti-Chinese incidents that suppressed the rampant kidnapping cases of Chinese nationals that paved the way for him to become the commissioner of the Anti-Organized Crime Committee by then-President Arroyo. This paved way for the removal of Chinese nationals from the list of restricted aliens, but also facilitated the granting of permanent residency to 50 Chinese nationals each year in the Philippines. Furthermore, Ambassador Chua helped FFCCCII obtain the rights to host the 10th World Chinese Entrepreneurs Conference and served as chairman of the organizing committee. The conference was successfully held in November 2009 and was highly praised by more than 3,000 Chinese businessmen who participated in the conference from various parts of the world. He also collaborated with the Fujian Normal University to establish the Philippine Institute of Chinese Language and Culture and was its first dean. He also helped the University of the Philippines and Angeles University establish Confucius Institutes. Ambassador Francis Chua believed that the Belt Road Initiatives, or BRI, is the sum of China's connections with the rest of the world and is the Chinese way of promoting trade, cooperation, and bilateral relations. He is more than willing to cooperate with China to tell our Filipino brothers the good story of China, their efforts on peace, and how China is a country that cares for its people and the whole of mankind. and the Philippine Silk Road International Chamber of Commerce Chairman, Ambassador Francis Chua.
It is a great honor to be one of the awardees of the first ever award for promoting Philippine-China understanding in the whole of frame category by APCU. This truly is a very humbling experience to be included with a distinguished awardee. I believe there are definitely more people who are more deserving. In fact, I need that be rewarded since it's my basic duty to promote understanding between these two great nations. China has been one of the longest and most amicable neighbors of the Philippines. It is but unfortunate that black propaganda has been spread against China. It's now more than ever important for us to advocate to our Filipino brothers and sisters the good works of China, that China delivers the most number of vaccines to the Philippines, that China never conquered the Philippines. We need to let everybody know who our real friend is and spread the word that China has good intention. China is a country who cares about the well-being of all mankind. Again, my deepest gratitude to the Chinese Embassy, Ambassador Huang Xilian, and APCU for prestigious award. Thank you very much.
Such remarkable feats. Congratulations to our Hall of Fame awardees. Now, as we continue tonight's celebration, here's a treat for all of us. Please welcome the 2018 Hip Hop International finalists as they share a Filipino-Chinese cultural dance special composition. Let's give a virtual round of applause to the Fusion Flames. All right. What an amazing number. Did you like that, Luella?
I loved it, Carlo. I agree. They're very talented indeed. Thank you to the Frisian Flames. And moving forward, Carlo.
Yes. For our next award category, it symbolizes not only singular achievements, but steps toward a greater cause. A cause for diplomacy, friendship, and unity of two nations for Outstanding Contribution Award. Let's begin with the Senior Fellow at the Yushchenko Center of De La Salle University. He made waves by publishing several works promoting China-Philippines diplomacy and has personally delved in peace education. Please welcome Dr. Romel Banlawi.
Dr. Romel C. Banlawi is a professorial lecturer at the Department of International Studies at Miriam College and currently an adjunct research professor at the National Institute for South China Sea Studies. He is the president of the Philippine Association for Chinese Studies, or PAX, and a board member of the China Southeast Asia Research Center on the South China Sea, or CSARC. As part of his deep involvement in promoting Philippines-China relations, he offers lectures and talks in various fields and has authored more than 70 publications in high-impact journals, among which delved into peace education and the promotion of the Philippines-China relationship. These include the ASEAN Regional Forum, the South China Sea Disputes, and the Functionalist Option 2001, Southeast Asian Perspectives on the Rise of China, Regional Security After 9/11 2003, Defense and Military Cooperation between Philippines and China, Broadening Bilateral Ties in the Post-9/11 Era 2007, Southeast Asian Regionalism and China's Soft Power Strategy in a Global Age 2010, Philippines-China Security Relations, Current Issues and Emerging Concerns 2012, Functional Cooperation and Joint Development, A Way Ahead in the South China Sea 2014, The Philippines, Security Options and Policy Implications 2017, Duterte Presidency, Shift in Philippines-China Relations 2017, Philippines-China Relations, Geopolitics, Economics, and Counterterrorism 2019, Benefits and Costs and the Philippines Paradigm Shift to China 2020, and Bilateral Consultative Mechanism in the South China Sea and Philippines-China Relations 2021. His recent publication, entitled Philippines-China Relations at 45 during the COVID-19 pandemic, New Discoveries, Recent Developments, and Continuing Concerns, exhibits a compendium of scholarly works across different disciplines commemorating Philippines-China relations at 45 amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Banlawi is well sought and always being interviewed by various media outlets, especially on issues concerning the South China Sea and Philippine-China bilateral relations. He has been promoting the two countries' continued mutual understanding, friendship, and bilateral relations for 3 decades already. Philippine Association for Chinese Studies, or PAX President, Dr. Romel Banlawi.
I sincerely convey my deepest gratitude to the Chinese Embassy in Manila and the Association for Philippines-China Understanding for honoring us with this award. This award recognizes not only our personal efforts, but also our collective task to promote mutual understanding between the Philippines and China. It is my ardent desire to see this award inspiring others to sustain the promotion of mutual understanding, not only between our two countries, but also among our people. More power to APCU, more power to the Chinese Embassy, and more power to the Filipino and Chinese people. Thank you very much. Mabuhay, Sese.
Congratulations, Dr. Romel Banlawi. Our next awardee is a pillar for his friends, listeners, and readers. He was a major figure in reporting factual realities between these two nations. He did not limit himself to just the media and gathered intellectuals, diplomats, and writers to discuss the issues during the U.S. Pivot to Asia controversy.
Casted by Radio Pilipinas, or RP1. He is also the host of an online podcast, Power Thinks, of the Global Talk News Radio, or GTNR, streamlined in various social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube, and one of the hosts of a television show, Opinion Ngayon, aired in Golden Nations Network every Friday. Ka Mentong is the founder and director of the Philippine BRICS Strategic Studies, a think tank inspired by China's advocacy towards a multipolar world structure. He was a former columnist of Daily Tribune for InfoWars and Die Hard 3, published every Monday and Wednesday, and had served as a columnist of Opinion for Consumers Demand, Critics Critic, and People's Struggle Weekly, and the former administrator of the Philippine Refugee Processing Center, now called the Bataan Technology Park, Inc. He served as the host of Journeys, Chronicles of Our Asian Century, that showcased developments in Asia, China, and Philippines-China bilateral relations, and offer analysis and news from Asian, Filipino, and global perspectives. Ka Mentong is considered a major figure in Philippine journalism, reporting authoritatively to the Filipino public and the international community the factual realities between Philippines and China and the principled global vision of China to build a better world for all peoples and nations. His passion and conviction in promoting mutual understanding, friendship, and good bilateral relations between the Philippines and China are reflective of his writings and commentaries, which facilitate in clarifying for the public the truth about the South China Sea dispute that has complicated the diplomatic relations between the two countries to an inconvenient degree until today. Ka Mentong is now a senior citizen and will be celebrating his 70th year in October of this year, 2021. But age is just a number for Ka Mentong. Though almost 70 of age already, he is still going strong, writing several articles in a week and maintaining 3 TV, radio, and online broadcasts.
Has steered the country and the region towards harmony and global peace. Let's recall a special group of Filipino diplomats who crucially supported the facts behind Filipino-China issues, such as retired Ambassadors Rosario Manalo, Albert Encomienda, and the late Ambassador Ray Arcilla. Also, a special group of journalists and writers, businessmen, retired military officers, social media activists who work for truth despite the brickbats, members of the Philippine BRICS Strategic Studies think tank group. Lastly, my wife, Teresa Dula Laurel, who has for a decade hosted the lunches for brainstorming sessions over information strategies to win the peace and prosperity for the Philippines, Asia, and the world.
Congratulations, Mr. Herman Laurel. Now let's continue. She previously served as president of an international society for the study of Chinese overseas and the Philippine Association for Chinese Studies. She is the founding president of the Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran Incorporated. She has taken on the difficult task of bridging cohesion between Filipinos and Chinoys. And this is why we are proud to present one of our outstanding contribution awardees, Ms. Teresita Ang C.
Teresita Ang C. has played a significant role as a bridge of understanding, acceptance, and cohesion between Filipinos and Chinoys, colloquial term for Chinese Filipinos. Bringing about unity and cohesion amid diversity is an important task she has undertaken and continues to undertake. She is the founding president of Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran, a movement made up of Chinese Filipinos with the main objective of promoting the full integration of Chinoys into mainstream society and tapping their full potentials in nation building. She now serves as executive trustee of Kaisa Heritage Center, which houses Bahay Chinoy, the Museum of the Chinese and Philippine Life, and the Chinben C. Memorial Library. The center is a repository of the historical and cultural legacy of the Chinoys in all aspects of Philippine life. With Kaisa as the publisher, she has written, edited, and co-edited 19 books. As an academic, she has served as past president of the prestigious International Society for the Study of Chinese Overseas, or ISSCO, and the Philippine Association for Chinese Studies. She has given lectures in local and international fora and written extensively on the issues of Philippine-China relations, ethnic identities, culture, race relations, integration, all with the end purpose of enhancing understanding and knowledge of such issues. In the early 90s, she became the face and voice of hapless, helpless, kidnapped victims. she has come to be known as an anti-crime advocate, having championed the cause of Chinoys at the height of the kidnapping menace. This is a task she continues to fulfill as the founding chairperson of the Movement for Restoration of Peace and Order, board advisor for Judicial Reforms Initiatives, and executive chair of the People's Law Enforcement Board of Manila. Having started in 1971, this year marks half a century of her role as a social activist, educator, cultural and development worker, and an active advocate against crime and for justice reforms. Madam Teresita Ang See has received many awards and recognition, including the Outstanding Women in the Nation's Service or TOWNS, Lifetime Volunteer Awards, among many others. In 2005, she was among the 1,000 women from all over the world nominated collectively for the Nobel Peace Award, a recognition of all the work she has done through the years. Madam Teresita Ang See believes in the credo, Kaisa, our blood may be Chinese, but our bonds grow deep in Philippine soil, and our bonds are with the Filipino people. She emphasizes that all her life's work has the end purpose of finding for Chinoys their rightful place in the Philippine sun. Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran Inc. founder, Teresita Ang See.
Thank you to the Association for Philippines-China Understanding for this recognition of my work in promoting better relations between the Philippines and China and between our two people. Much has been done, but much more remains to be done. This award validates our role as bridge of understanding and tolerance and serves as a call for us to continue to work better for harmony, peace, and cooperation between our two countries. Thank you again.
Congratulations, Ms. Teresita Ang See. A true academician and an esteemed public intellectual, she takes pride in her bicultural roots. She actively promotes the celebration of Chinese languages and culture. It is this pride that helped her cultivate an interest in Filipinos for a culture that may be foreign to them. Please welcome Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno to accept the award of Outstanding Contribution.
A true academician and esteemed public intellectual, Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno is a Filipino with Chinese ancestry who takes pride in her bicultural roots. Backed by her robust academic training and relevant professional, corporate, and international experience in both private and public sectors, Dr. Nepomuceno is a visionary in her own right. In an era where China is no longer viewed as another player, but a formidable force to reckon with in globalization, Dr. Nepomuceno employs her knowledge and passion in aiding communities to bridge major socio-cultural gaps through language and communication arts. In 2009, beginning with her hometown of Angeles, Pampanga, Dr. Nepomuceno co-established the Confucius Institute at the Angeles University Foundation. Among others, the institute promotes an understanding and appreciation of Chinese culture and the teaching of the Mandarin language. In 2015, Dr. Nepomuceno was welcomed by the University of the Philippines, Diliman, to lead the establishment of the Confucius Institute. Over the years, Dr. Nepomuceno has built up many ties with government entities, city colleges, and universities, as well as the private sector, to the extent that the Confucius Institute at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, has now the broadest outreach in Mandarin lessons. In both setups, Dr. Nepomuceno holds the distinction of being the pioneer Filipino director. It is also noteworthy that her commitment to education in general and the advocacy of the appreciation of the Chinese language and culture have also benefited Philippine society. Specifically, Dr. Nepomuceno initiated and advanced the inclusion of the Mandarin language in the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education as a special program in foreign language. The program greatly facilitates the diversification of the skill sets of Filipinos that provides them headway in employment and/or overall personal development. The director of Confucius Institute of UP Diliman, Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno.
I am immensely grateful to the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Philippines and APCU for this award. It is a great privilege to be included in such distinguished ranks as those of the other honorees. In my 13th year journey as Confucius Institute Director, I have been able to proactively raise public awareness that Chinese language education can unravel unfamiliarities, conquers great walls of differences, and nurtures cordial interactions among Filipinos and Chinese. I would like to think that my successful endeavors highlighting Confucius Institute as an educational and cultural diplomacy platform under the framework of a community with shared future widen the perspective we have of China and the Chinese, as well as the perception of the Philippines and the Filipinos. This prestigious recognition is as humbling as it is gratifying. Maraming salamat po. Xie.
Wow, these people are truly incredible. Congratulations!
And speaking of incredible, here is another special performance brought to us by The Voice Season 2 Grand Finalist and Tawag na Tanghalan Celebrity Champion Leia Patricio, together with the second runner-up in Fujian Solo Singing Contest 2019 in Shenzhou, China, and guest singer at Spring Melody Nanning TV station, Johnvid Bangayan.
Two joint singers from different nations are here to sing a friendship song for the Philippines and China. Let's give them a round of applause.
其色的彩虹为我们的友谊铭记。
'Cause I know whatever's told me make best together.
向前走，向前走。
Wow, astounding, what a performance!
And very heartfelt too. Thank you so much. Now it's time to recognize the very profound contributions of our next set of awardees. Ladies and gentlemen, here are our major contribution awardees.
All right, I'm sure you're all excited to find out who our awardees are. So, let's begin. Our first major contribution awardee is a veteran China watcher and foreign correspondent. He was CNN's Beijing bureau chief for 13 years. He concurrently served as a China chairman for Fortune Global Forum. It is this commitment that led him to where he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Jaime Flor Cruz.
Professor Jaime Flor Cruz is a veteran foreign correspondent in China. He was CNN's Beijing bureau chief and correspondent, responsible for strategic planning of the network's news coverage of China from 2001 to 2014. He is a visiting professor at Peking University and the founding president of Peking University Overseas Students Alumni Association from 2012 to the present. He served as the chairman of the Fortune Global Forum, a meeting of global business and political leaders held in Beijing in 2005 and Chengdu, Sichuan Province in 2013, and again in Guangzhou in 2017. Professor Flor Cruz has reported extensively on China since 1981, when he started his journalistic career as a Beijing reporter for Newsweek. In 1982, he joined Time magazine's Beijing bureau and served as its bureau chief from 1990 to 2000. In addition to his on-air reporting, Professor Flor Cruz contributed regularly to CNN.com and wrote a weekly online column, Jaime's China, offering analysis about Chinese society and politics. The founding president of Peking University Overseas Students Alumni Association, Professor Jaime Flor Cruz.
5 decades ago, I joined a group of 15 youth leaders from the Philippines for a study tour of China hosted by the China Friendship Association with Foreign Countries, also known as Youxie, which is the Chinese counterpart of the Association of Philippine-China Understanding. What was originally a 3-week tour unexpectedly turned into an open-ended stay in China. Through those years as a student, a journalist, and now as a teacher, I have enriched myself with a distinct perspective of China's interactions with the world. I have since been paying forward, sharing my knowledge of China to fellow Filipinos and proudly waving our Philippine flag in China. Thank you for this award. I hope the next generation of youth in our two countries will join us in promoting deep understanding and long-lasting friendship between the Philippines and China.
Congratulations, Professor Jaime Flor Cruz. Our next awardee is an educator, a physician, a man committed to the academe. He teaches a broad scope of subject matters ranging from pre-law to biology. He pushed for unbiased reporting of the mainstream media for China and the Philippines' economic deals. A man with a strong mind and a strong opinion cannot be overstated. To receive the award for major contributions, let's welcome Dr. and attorney Mario Leonardo Aportadera.
Dr. Attorney Mario Leonardo Emilio O. Aportadera is currently a faculty member of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences of the University of San Agustin, Iloilo. As a physician, he teaches BS Biology courses such as Human Anatomy and Parasitology, and as a lawyer, he teaches pre-law courses such as International Law, Political Theories, and Introduction to Law. He served as an editor-in-chief of the Augustinian Mirror magazine and was a delegate in the Japan International Cooperation Agency's Friendship Program for the 21st century from May to June 1986. He joined the Manila Doctors Hospital for his postgraduate internship and served as president of the MDH Postgraduate Interns Organization. Because of his deep love and devotion for learning, he also took his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of San Agustin, Iloilo, and served as editor-in-chief of the Augustinian Law Gazette. He is both a practitioner of general medicine and general law in Iloilo. In his article published in 2016 entitled "Balance Sheets Do Not Define Friendship," he discussed how the mainstream media biasly reported on the economic and trade relations of the two countries, the Philippines and China. He also wrote articles related to the issues of the South China Sea, explaining the intricacies of the issue while urging Filipinos and Chinese to have an open mind in dealing with a complicated issue like the South China Sea dispute. Dr. and attorney Aportadera also came up with a publication entitled Mama Had a Knack for Storytelling in 2017, where he shared and imparted the stories of his mother on how the Chinese think, being himself born to a Chinese mother and a Filipino father. His effort as an individual in promoting and advancing Philippines-China relations at the grassroots level is evident in his sensible observation and enunciated retort against anti-China and biased media reporting. Physician, lawyer, and international law professor at the University of San Agustin's College of Liberal Arts in Iloilo, Dr. Mario Leonardo Emilio Aportadera.
Give people an idea and you will enlighten their minds. Tell them a story and you will touch their souls. Hasidic Jewish proverb. Good afternoon. I was nominated for the stories I shared about China. Stories share values, give ideas, and transmit information. Stories, too, can promote people-to-people understanding. Claire Perty of the Empathy Museum based in London said, "Stories have a transformative power to allow us to experience the world in a different way than if we do so by experiencing it our own. Stories are our entry point to understanding the different experience of the world. My stories include how the whole village bared its soul to my maternal great-grandfather. He was the only literate man in their village who would read and write letters for them. My great-grandfather, Ong Lat, took a wooden-hull rickety boat at the mercy of the turbulent sea amidst the threats of pirates in going to the Philippines. Guama was only 14 years old when she married Guacong and accompanied him to the Philippines. She never saw her parents again. Paul Cobley wrote in the narrative, "Not only are our personal life stories embedded in the stories of others, they are also embedded in the contending narratives of the past and current social, political events." In accepting the award for promoting Philippine-China understanding, I quote Donna Jacobs-Seif in her work, Living in Harmony. She wrote, "A story speaks to the soul, not the ego. to the heart, not the head. In today's world, we yearn so much to understand, to conquer with our mind. So I do not offer interpretation. What I offer is to tell the story again and again, on and on, if need be, until the ego has stepped aside and the soul can hear. I trust that the life of the story continues long after I have gone, if the listener can step aside and be taken up and into the world where word speaks not to the mind, but to the soul. Sheshe.
Congratulations, Dr. and Attorney Mario Leonardo Aportadera. Our next awardee is a public intellectual, devoted family man, and an arbiter of the news. He is a pillar of journalism community. He pushed for diplomatic relations and offered alternative solutions rather than clinging to a partisan mentality. Please welcome the next awardee for major contributions, Mr. Adolfo Ado.
Nationalized discourse of pressing issues confronting the Philippine society, he offers an alternative perspective that enables opportunities for peaceful diplomatic dialogues. Ado served as a press attaché and spokesman of the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C. from 1986 to 1993. Of his innumerable contributions and services to the Philippine society, it is his direct participation in the South China Sea debate that is most noteworthy and which likewise earned him the designation of an ambassador of goodwill. Said debate was inspired by the scandals revolving frustrated oligarchic capture of oil and gas opportunities at the Reed Bank or Recto Reef in 2011. The incompetent mishandling of Philippine foreign affairs resulting in the Scarborough standoff of 2012 and the subsequent filing of a case with the Permanent Court of Arbitration against China, backed by his training and experience in journalism and motivated by nothing but reporting as close as possible to facts. Ado stood his ground in facing off with U.S. Pinoys for good governance in a debate at Oxon Hill in Metro Washington, D.C. when he said a group of Sinophobics launched its Shame China campaign in the U.S. Since then, Ado never lets off the South China Sea discussions, engaging his audiences through his articles in print and broadcast media, and mobilizing together with Migrants Heritage Commission Chairman Arnedo Valera, a U.S. Pinoys for Real Change movement based in Washington, D.C., in a continuing attempt to present an alternative view amidst disinformation among Filipino Americans. Furthermore, Ado wrote and authored 2 noteworthy books. The first one was entitled A Problem for Every Solution, which for the most part is a situationer on the territorial dispute in the South China Sea, and the second book was entitled No Vaccine for a Virus Called Racism, which is a survey of COVID-19 implications from an international perspective. President and Editor-in-Chief of SovereignPH.com, Adolfo Ado Paglinawan.
I would like to thank APCU and the China Embassy for this recognition. It would not be complete, however, if I don't mention the support my wife Margot and our 6 children and 13 grandchildren provide for me. It was difficult during the Aquino administration, which was hostile to China, to balance its views in the South China Sea debate. Neither was it easy to have given the impression in the midst of the present pandemic that COVID-19 did not start at Wuhan, but in the United States. However, as the Americans would say it, these are the times that try men's souls. To which I send back in repartee, only the truth shall set us free. Thank you, APCU, again. And thank you, China.
Congratulations, Mr. Adolfo Ado Paglinawan. Up next, he is famous as that crazy fun teacher. He consistently made videos featuring Chinese culture and collaborated with his 5-1 Talk students on his video projects for his Bitty Bitty YouTube channel and it is his passion for teaching that led him to stand before you today. Please welcome Mr. John Nicolo Fernandez, accepting the award for major contributions.
The youngest among the 10 APPCU laureates is John Nicolo Frederick Fernandez, also known as Teacher John Lucas and That Crazy Fun Teacher, is a 5-1 Talk Teacher brand ambassador who has been on the platform for over 3 years. He creates videos about Chinese culture and collaborates on his video projects with his Chinese students. He is also very popular in China on his Bilibili channel, which has thousands of followers. He serves as a director for JNF Studios from 2013 to the present. His passion for teaching made him become an online sensation in China because of his cool and engaging antics while conducting lessons. He loves to incorporate and promote Chinese culture into his videos. He made videos of making Chinese food during Chinese New Year and did some cosplay of some Chinese celebrities on his social media accounts on YouTube and Facebook as That Crazy Fun Teacher. John Fernandez has been traveling to China many times since 2019. In one of his travels, his team competed in Beijing for the SINA 5-Star Teachers Competition and clinched the 5-Star Teacher Award because of their unique and engaging teaching techniques. His warm interactions with students made him an active advocate of student-centered learning. This significant attribute of his personality is seen through his creative videos on his students' birthdays, movie dubbing shows, and tongue twisters with Chinese students. 5-1 Talk brand ambassador, John Nicolo Fernandez.
Hey everyone, I'm John Nicolo Fernandez, or better known as Teacher John Lucas, aka That Crazy Fun Teacher. First and foremost, I would like to give a huge thank you to 5-1 Talk for giving me the opportunity to represent their brand in the Philippines and in China. And to my family and friends who are always there to show their support through thick and thin, I thank you. To my new APPCU family and Chinese Embassy Manila, thank you for welcoming me with open arms. Rest assured that I will carry this award with pride, and I will continue to do my best to promote peace and love through my crazy fun online classes and videos. Winning this APPCU award wouldn't have been possible without all of your support. Again, my heartfelt thanks to everyone. 感谢大家，祝你们有一个美好的。
Congratulations, John Nicolo Fernandez. All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations once again to all our awardees who are with us today. Greetings.
They are truly very deserving of their achievements. Kudos to all of you. Your exemplary contributions have truly made a big difference.
Agree. Now, let us hear some inspiring words from the Association for Philippines-China Understanding President, Mr. Jeffrey Nang.
Chairman Emeritus, former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, APCU Chairman, Secretary Raul Lambino, fellow trustees and officials of the Association for Philippines-China Understanding, or APCU, honored guests and delegates from the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Republic of the Philippines, led by Ambassador Huang C. Lian. To our first batch of the APCU awardees, to my fellow Filipinos and our Chinese friends, it is our honor to be part of this esteemed ceremony that pays tribute to these 10 distinguished Filipinos who, in their conscious efforts and passion, have made a significant impact in our lives. We take pride to be living in an era of greater connectivity thanks to breakthroughs in information technology. At the same time, we are at a crossroad in history where friendly bilateral relations with China are more crucial than ever. We need to reinvigorate, rekindle, and develop a brightness in the relationship between the Philippines and China in all aspects, most notably of which are the fields of diplomacy, economic investment and trade, education, culture, and technology development. Strengthening and fortifying these relations and fostering deeper understanding and appreciation of these ties between the Philippines and China is of paramount interest to all of us, especially in these challenging times. APCU was established to deepen this relationship and to encourage it to flourish between our two countries. Together with the Chinese Embassy, we developed an award to highlight and emphasize the unique contributions of these Filipinos who pursued the fostering and promotion of Filipino-Chinese friendship, understanding, and cooperation. This is the APCU, Award for Promoting Philippines-China Understanding. I must admit that it has been a challenge for all of us to persevere and push through with this endeavor. Nevertheless, it was also inspiring and encouraging. For 45 years, our goal has been to promote the mutual understanding between the Philippines and China. And these awards have long been a dream for us here at APCU. Today, we honor these trailblazing and courageous Filipinos who seek to facilitate and build Phil-Sino relations, who appreciate and value the connections that are forged, and who cherish learning, growing, and celebrating life, relationships, and accomplishments. Beyond the name it bears, and for everything it stands for, APCU is a beacon which has been lit aflame to remind us of our shared history and relationship that has persisted for more than 1,000 years. To further develop the appreciation for both the distinct and diverse socio-cultural heritage that facilitates a greater value of interpersonal and bilateral relations, APCU serves as a spark to strengthen ties and build bridges to further the friendly relations and mutual understanding of the two countries and its two peoples, the Filipino and the Chinese. It is in this light that I would like to close this afternoon's awards ceremony by underlying the purpose and goal that we hope to achieve with the award for promoting Philippines-China understanding. Today, we focus on the efforts made by our fellow Filipinos who, in their respective capacities and commitment to a noble cause, have greatly contributed to the building of bridges and connections between and among the peoples of the Philippines and China. Thus, we kindle the flame of APCU not only to honor these men and women for their accomplishments, but also to highlight how their life stories can serve as an inspiration for many of us in our pursuit of better relations and ties between the Philippines and China. To the 10 APCU laureates for this year, 2021, my congratulations. To all of us, a pleasant afternoon and long live the ties that bind Philippine-China friendship and understanding. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Xie. Mabuhay.
All right, thank you for those inspiring words, Mr. Jeffrey Nang. What a day, huh? Just have to say that the strong and amazing friendship between the Philippines and China could not be more evident than it is today. We're hopeful that this relationship continues and to flourish, to prosper, and just want to thank you to our media partners for being part of every endeavor of both China and the Philippines.
Thank you so much to everyone for joining our virtual awarding ceremony. Please don't forget to follow the Chinese Embassy Manila for more updates.
All right, congratulations to all our awardees. But before we go, we'd like to remind all our guests and attendees not to leave the room yet, as we will be having a photo opportunity with the APCU Board of Directors, VIPs and awardees. Once again, this has been Carlo Orosa.
And my name is Luella Chan. Thank you, everyone. Please stay safe.